Hello and welcome back to the podcast. As the season's ended for the club football, we are now into the World Cup season for 2026. Hosting this podcast, as always, if you don't know me by yet, is Craig, or you can call me CHJ for my loyal supporters. And in the red corner, we've got...
My name is Tom, everyone. And like everyone knows my name already. But yeah, I'm very excited to be here today to talk about World Cup football. Yeah, so let's get to it.
Get to it, indeed. So obviously, as we're recording this, we're currently 3 minutes into the opening game, Mexico versus South Africa. And I've been really excited for this World Cup just because I can get my hopes up again and get really disappointed when England go out or play defensive football. But this first episode is just going to be a bit of an icebreaker for us, obviously mainly around England, and obviously the games that go on or any big things we need to bring up. So obviously, without boring you, let's move into the first segment, which is we're going to have a bit of an England World Cup check-in. England have played 2 warm-up games now. The first one missed quite a few players from the Arsenal squad. But it was a good game to break some players in. They both 2 sets of teams had 45 minutes to get accustomed to the conditions in America. We saw the pitch that they played on wasn't very good in that first game, but we'll come on to that in a minute. And they played last night. So, Tom, England, the first game was England 1 and New Zealand. I know you watched this game.
Yeah.
Is it job done for England, as in they are confident going into this World Cup, or are there a few little warning signs for that first game that you might have picked up?
No, I think it's job done. I mean, both 2 games were warm-up games, so the main thing is to just get a bit of minutes into their legs, and also the key thing is to not get any injuries. So they haven't had any injuries, and they've managed to, I think, rotate and play, if not all the players in the squad, apart from a couple. So I think it's good so far. Obviously, as a fan, though, it does make you feel a little bit nervous when you play New Zealand and you only score 1-0. So it does make you feel a bit nervous. But it's a warm-up game, so you don't expect them to sort of go all out because they're trying to sort of save their legs and trying to get the stamina so that they peak at the right time, for the World Cup. I think it was much more impressive last night. The game against Costa Rica was a good result. 3-0. We could actually have won, I think, 4-5-0 in the end. I think my standout players from last night were Gordon, Rice, Kane and Bellingham. I think they were just excellent. I think Madueke was okay, but I think it was just that miss where he was through on goal when he tried to hit with his left foot but not his right, and I think that's quite poor, really. So I was just disappointed by that.
Yeah. For me, obviously going from the first performance, I knew you can't expect much. There was a massive controversy about the pitch, which was an NFL pitch. It's an easy care pitch where you're meant to be able to pull up the old pitch, put the new pitch down, but as you could see, there was a lot of bobbles. And now we come out of that game without an injury. Blows my mind. But you could say the same about New Zealand. They was playing on the same pitch. We only won 1-0. So I think sometimes we overcomplicate things as a big nation like England, or a team that likes to think they're big in these World Cups. And we're always trying to find an excuse. So, second game, like you said, 3-0 Costa Rica. I thought the performance was a lot more fluid, which you're going to get when players haven't played together for a long time. And then you had an extra 5 days playing together. I thought Bellingham looked excellent between the lines. Gordon, for me, strengthened his case to start. And I always thought with the season Rashford had at Barcelona, I thought he would probably start the game against Croatia. But for me, Gordon just looked immense. Rice, he's going to be our main man in the midfield. I think he's going to be our box-to-box player who can create, but also protect that defensive line. Overall, I thought it was a lot better performance. England looked a lot more aggressive in the press, which we haven't really seen a lot of under Southgate. A lot of people said the same as what I thought. We're probably going to say goodbye to that kind of possession-based football that Southgate brought in. But it was good to see not only can we do a little bit of possession, we can also press on, when we haven't got the ball. So overall, I mean, it's Costa Rica. I'm not no insult to Costa Rica, but we know playing Spain or Brazil or any team like that, we're obviously not going to be that dominant. But promising signs for me. Would you say though, Tom? Did we finally see Tuchel's preferred England system? Maybe not the players, but the England system against that game, Costa Rica.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, in his press conferences, I think he's been saying that sort of he wanted them. That was the thing. I think that he said was a bit poor from their goal. The game against New Zealand was that they weren't pressing and they weren't having that flow. So I think the lads must have heard him and sort of tried to do it more in the second game.
Yeah, he was quite. I forgot the words he used, but he openly criticised England's structure after that New Zealand game, which he didn't have to. I think under Southgate we got used to the players are adjusting but I think, like you say, there's 26-man squad, and for the first time in a long time, picking a first team 11 could be quite hard. And he's actually been openly truthful about Bellingham might not even start games. So he's probably got that kind of what we expected to see under Capello when he was manager. But again, time will tell how Tuchel gets on with this.
I have to say though, like just going on from that Tuchel, like I have to say how impressed by how he talks to the press and that sort of thing, like after the games, and he's very calm and cool, but also he's got passion and drive, and you can clearly see it in his face. That basically, like, he really wants to help England to go and win the World Cup. But he's also got that sort of just calm and cool head that can see the England players through the horrible press, because we know that the press are often horrible, about England's chances, and they're always saying, "Oh, they can't do it," and "Oh, they're going to do it," and you can just think that can really play on someone's mind. But I think with Tuchel basically at the helm, I think he'll help the players and team to sort of stay grounded.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll be honest with you, I've seen a lot. There's a lot still. You talk about the press. There's a lot still going around about not just a non-English manager, but also a Tuchel manager leading the England team. And a lot of people are saying, well, the whole point of England international football is about playing your players who are from that nation. You could argue to say the same about the manager. But I think England fans, all of us, have to step into reality and see we haven't got any great English managers. Eddie Howe was probably the only one we could see leading that, and I'd like to see him lead that one day. I think he's deserved it for the positions he's been in. But for now, they aren't good enough. And I think if you don't want to keep slipping down the rankings, and if you still want to be a top team, you've got to get some managers who actually want to lead at international level. And I think for Tuchel as well, as much as he's a great coach and he speaks well, I think there's also a massive opportunity to him to not mess this up, because again, he's become a manager where he's been at Dortmund, been at Chelsea, various other clubs, but obviously it hasn't quite worked out at all those clubs. Now he's at international level. I think for himself as well, for his career, I think he's got to make something good out of this World Cup and a European Championship after, if England don't get absolutely slaughtered and he gets sacked. That's me with my positivity, as you know.
Okay.
Moving on.
Just a highlight. I see on my app, basically Mexico have scored 1-0.
I was just about to say, as I'm watching the game now, they scored about 5 minutes ago, I think, maybe short. But I didn't want to cut it off halfway through. I didn't want to be that person. So I was just about to say, before we move on to the next bit, Mexico are 1-0 up, and
someone called Quinones.
I love that Spanish accent. But watching this game right now, I think it's an open game, and that's what you want to see at a World Cup. So let's move on to picking our England 11.
Yeah.
What I was thinking about to do this, I was thinking, should we pick our all-time England 11? But I think it's impossible to do that because you'll always get backlash. There's some players we haven't seen in the flesh who should be in there. There's some players who we have personal preferences to for a system should be in there. So what better way to do our our preferred starting 11, especially for Croatia. So as I clearly the host and I've talked a lot, do you want to go first, Tom? Picking your England 11, the strongest 11, but also who we expect to start against Croatia.
I mean, so I'm confident in all my picks apart from the right wing. The right wing, I think, is where we potentially got a bit of trouble because Saka's not fully fit yet, and we don't know if he's going to be fully fit for to play. Madueke, he's good, but then last night he showed that he's like there's just a bit of doubt in the past sort of couple of games that I watched him playing. So goalie is Jordan Pickford because I think he's our best keeper, and especially he is good at penalties, and I think we're bound to have some of those. So it'll be great doing that. Then I've got O'Reilly, left wing, Stones, Gay, and James in my back four. And then I got Anderson and Bryce.
Yeah.
And then I got Madueke on the right wing. I got Bellingham, number 10, and then Gordon left wing and Kane up front. And with Watkins as a backup for Kane.
Yeah.
So
So your reasoning behind Madueke is about fitness concerns to Saka then?
Yeah.
Mainly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am a little bit worried that maybe that's been overlooked a little bit because Madueke is a good player, but he isn't a great player. And when we've got like Rashford, Gordon, who are two great left wingers, you probably only have to pick one.
Yeah.
I think I can't see them playing one of them on the right. I think Tuchel's too smart for that. And I think Madueke will probably start that first game to give Saka a few more minutes on the training field and minutes on the pitch of the game to get match fit.
Yeah.
So O'Reilly, you're going with O'Reilly as well then, which I saw Livramento play on against New Zealand. I thought he was pretty good on that left back position.
So the reason why I go for O'Reilly is because he scored against Arsenal this season, and I think you got to be very good to score against Arsenal. So, and he's just had a sensational season at City, and he can do just amazing things. So I think that's why I picked him.
Who did you say is your centre back pair? Sorry, Gakey and Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that would be number one. So what I've gone for is Pickford, obviously.
Yeah.
Reece James. I
Yeah.
mean, Tuchel absolutely loves Reece James, so definitely Reece James. I've gone Stones and Gahey. You would pick a centre bit partnership who currently play together. So, well, I know Stones is left, but Gay and Stones have had 6 months together. So I think that's a great to get the partnership. And even so, now I've said that, I was going to go Livramento left back, but I might actually go with yourself and go O'Reilly, because that means then you've got three defenders who play together regularly. And I think I never actually thought about it like that until we spoke about it. So I think O'Reilly will go left back. Rice and Anderson have to play. They have to play together. Right mid, I am going to go Saka. I think he'll surprise us. I think Tuchel surprises. I think he's expecting Madueke to start. I think Saka will start. Bellingham and Gordon. I mean, that's got to be it. Yeah. And the striker, there's no doubt about it. It's going to be Kane, because I am very worried about England's future without Kane. Like you say, Watkins is very good, and I think he deserves more time. But both players aren't in their youth, and I think we need to start as a nation looking at bringing in a good young striker to produce for the future. It looks like we've both got similar squads. Looking at this squad without Palmer, without Foden, now we look at it and we're talking about right wingers. I know Palmer isn't a right winger, but that goal against Spain he scored in the final come from the white ring. And now we're breaking it down to fitness and Saka, Madueke, who hasn't really had a consistent season. Do you think Palmer should have been given that go ahead for his experience for England, or do you think there's enough creativity on that right wing?
I mean, I really hope that Saka comes in and like that he gets over his injury and gets into form, because it'd be really good for him and really good for the sort of country as well, for Saka to get back in. But I've just got my doubts, because he hasn't been that great for Arsenal this past season either. So, I mean, he's done a few good things, but he's not had a good season. And to be honest, I mean, it is a bit surprising. But then Palmer's had a bit similar, hasn't he, this season? Because he's had a few injuries, hasn't he, Palmer?
Yeah.
So I think Tuchel's sort of chosen. It's just an interesting pairing that usually that right wing is solid because you think that Saka is going to get in there and he's on form and he's going to be flying, but I think that is the one weak spot in the England squad this World Cup, and so maybe Palmer would have been. I mean, I think with those sort of players, it's that sort of level of quality that you want, and if they happen to be in form and their quality, then that's the best thing to have. But it's very, I guess that's why to have the manager's job is like not very sort of kind of easy, or like it's difficult because you have to make these very difficult decisions. And when both of them haven't played that well or haven't, I mean, I'm not sure if I could say that Palmer or Saka played much better than each other in the past season. So I can appreciate why, or that it must have been difficult for Tuchel to sort of pick. And I'm not sure myself.
That's fair enough. We saw you're saying, and I'm saying as well, so I'm not putting all this down on you, but we're both saying that right winger, or right, whatever system is going to play, if he's going to play right winger or sporting attacking right, there's some doubt about that because of consistency and match fitness. But Roy Keane this week said his main concern was the defence for England. He's not convinced by it. If anything, I think this is a great opportunity to not rely on. For the first time in a long time, we've got defenders who actually, like Conser, he deserves chances. He probably wouldn't have got chances in previous England squads. Livramento, he's an option to play left back or right back now. And I think I'm not. Yes, it's not the strongest defense, but again, it's going to work on chemistry, like we've just mentioned there with Riley, Jones, and Gahey. But we've also got players like Livramento who want to perform. Reece James, who is strong at the right back. Concert, who I'm a massive fan of. So I think I'd have to disagree with Roy Keane there, and that's not me saying that. So this pod can get more views. Believe me, it's not. But when I saw it, I thought he's either being Roy Keane and wants to say something funny, or I don't know. What do you think about England's defence?
Well, he might have said that to try to. I think often these pundits, I think they say things to try to. Well, the one is for comments, I think, but the other thing is maybe he's saying that so that fans don't try and put too much pressure on the forwards, because I think usually fans are always trying to put pressure on those top 3 or 4 players, whereas maybe he's trying to sort of try and put the pressure on the back 4 so that England feel less pressure and they go ahead and score. But that's a very kind of weird theory.
That's fair. I think, I don't know about you, but I think Bellingham for a long time has been hailed as. I think this tournament he's got to show up. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand what I mean by that, but he's always been this golden boy. He's always been this player who's going to save everything. That England are going to play around. But if anything, I'm more excited about Rice being in the starting lineup than I am Bellingham. And I think this tournament, he's got to show that he's not. Like Neymar. Neymar for international level, that's probably a poor excuse, but for club football, Neymar was always, he's going to be at his peak, he's going to be there, he's going to be there. And I don't think he ever hit the heights of Messi, Ronaldo, players like that. And I think that's where I think Bellingham needs to show up in this tournament, make a name for himself on the world stage. I know he plays for Real Madrid, so, but you know what I mean. Is that me being negative, or do you?
No. Yeah, he has always had, for the past World Cup. I know that, again, that's the sort of negativity of the press is they put so much pressure on these players, and he was quite young back then, and he's still learning now, and he's 4 years older than what he was at the last World Cup. So I think we got to remember that these are humans like me and you, and they need to learn. But it does feel like it's his time to shine, because the last World Cup, I think he probably was a bit too young then when sort of inexperienced and hadn't gone through his various clubs and playing at Real Madrid. So I think that experience that he's undoubtedly learned a lot, and he's very good at what he does. I agree with you that it's his time to step up and to take hold of the reins and kind of do it,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we've got to see. Got to kind of. I know he's not the captain, but we've got to kind of see that captain's performance, because I think, if anything, is he the vice captain now, or is it Rice? I'm not quite sure. But
no, I mean, it was Gordon who took the penalty. I'm not sure if that means that he's vice captain or.
Well,
yeah,
probably because he's signed for Barcelona. All of a sudden, he's become vice captain material.
Yeah.
So pretty good. Let's get on to our World Cup predictions. Now, these don't have to be English footballers. You don't have to. We could pick one English footballer and one from another nation if you want to. But it'll be good to see what our predictions are and then what they are come the final. So I'm going to start. So the first one is Golden Boot. So I am going to pick. I want to say Kane. My heart wants me to say Kane. I think Kane's a fantastic footballer, but I'm going to go with Kylian Mbappe. I think it'll be very close between Kylian and Harry Kane, but I think France are expected to go far, I think, in this World Cup. They are expected to go far, and if they are going to go as far as the final, then you're going to need someone who's going to score all those goals, and I think Mbappe's the main man for that. He's got a proven World Cup pedigree. He's obviously going to be hurt about losing the final against Argentina, and he remains one of the top, the world-class strikers in the world. So I could see Mbappe being come the end of the tournament, the Golden Boot winner. Other contenders, like say Kane, Alvarez for Argentina, Atletico Madrid. I think if they have a good tournament, I think he might pull up some surprises. But yeah, Mbappe for me. What about yourself?
Oh, I had the same too. Yeah, Kane and Mbappe. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, it's very difficult to choose, but yeah, I know France are really sort of up there in terms of everyone predicting them to go and win it, actually. But I think it'd be great to see England versus France in the final, actually.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that if that can happen in terms of how the group stages will work out, but if that can happen, then that'd be a fantastic final.
I did actually said that in our group chat the other day, but I can't actually remember how that will turn out. I don't think I'm not sure.
But yeah, I think I'll go with Kylian Mbappe because he's younger, because he's more in his. I mean, Kane is in his prime. I mean, he's older, but he's kind of hitting his prime sort of more now than what he did when he was younger. Quite sort of ironically in a way. But I do think Kylian, when you see him, he just has that real thirst for goals and has that ego that I am the one who is going to win and score the goals. Henry had that sort of ego about him. He's very much like him, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, perfect. We'll lock them in. Come the end of the tournament.
Yeah.
So next one is player of the tournament. I should have the amount of world players on the stage this year. I should have really done young player and player, but I'm just going to stick with player of the tournament. For me, I wanted to say Bellingham because I think this might be a tournament. He might surprise us. But I'm going to say Lamine Yamal for Spain. I know he's still young, but I'm a massive fan of his. I think he's great on the ball. Spanish style football suits him. He can score from far out. He's considering his age, you would think he's kind of in that era where you would expect him to score 20 goals a season for club football. So I think for me, I think he's going to have a good tournament. And I don't think that's a surprise either. I think Yamal, a bit like what you said with Bellingham, you've got to remember he's a young player, but his potential keeps growing. And I think with that expectation comes, which means, unfortunately, he is going to be viewed as the person to take over, the Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar kind of fame. For football. So yeah, I'm going to go with Yamal, which is controversial. I will say that. So Tom,
I think that's a great shout. I mean, in the last World Cup, and But European Championships, I mean, he scored some amazing goals, didn't he? Like just some amazing, like
Yeah,
unbelievable. Like for someone so young and to have that maturity and that coolness is just incredible, unbelievable. So that's a good shout.
you gone
Player
for
of the tournament, yeah.
player of the tournament.
Well,
Play some holding music here, some
it's
elevator
very
music.
difficult. It's very difficult to say, isn't it? I mean, can I say Kane for player of the tournament? Only got to
Hmm?
move like Kylian. Golden Boot is Kylian Mbappe.
Well, you
I
could,
say
but
that then, yeah.
depends if he scores a lot
Because
of free kicks.
because I think I I I I think that if England do go and win it, then Kane's going to be a really big part of getting us there because the passes he makes, like the pinpoint accuracy, the way that he drops deep and like allows other players to go forward, and he takes with him about two or three defenders. So that means that players can just run in front. Like he's got such a good football brain. And like another example against Costa Rica was when there was a corner or someone was doing a cross, and he'd managed to place himself in like an area of free space, and he knocked it back in, and just stuff like that that just makes you think, yeah, like he is going to be a massive part of England, like if they go and win.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout, Ardo. I think Kane is a really good shout. I think he's a world class player. And I think because he's English, we probably don't give him that title enough. And he played for Spurs, so that says it all. So, surprise of the tournament, I did text you to say team and player. If you haven't got a team and player, that's fine. If you've got one,
No, I have chosen, yeah.
okay, good. So, I've gone first a couple of times. Who do you want to go with? So, your player,
Yeah.
surprise of the player, who's that?
So my surprise player is Mortada Ben Iwanes.
Oh yeah, him, yeah.
And he plays for Tunisia. And the reason why I've chosen them as my surprise sort of team and player of the year is because I drew them at my work sweepstake. So like if they do it, then like basically I'm winning something like 48 quid or something.
I tell you that's worth every bloody penny. Are you so? What? Okay, your team of the tournament's Tunisia. The player obviously is from that team.
That's my surprise one.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, it's surprise team of the tournament's going to be Tunisia, which isn't a bad shout, because they are a surprise.
yeah.
But also, the surprise player comes from that team. What makes that player out of their 26-man squad? Why is he going to surprise the tournament? Was it just because of his name?
Because he's 31 and he's their striker. So, 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 you still don't expect someone 31 years old to come and surprise you.
I'm going to keep that in my mind when the opening game is for Tunisia, and if he doesn't start, he's only got 2 more games to be. Can you say his name again?
Mortada Ben Uwanes, which is spelled Ouanes.
Classic. I think
Ones.
I'd love to see the crowd singing that name on repeat.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, great.
How about you?
moving on to mine. So I'm going to start with the player. My player is Turkey's Arda Güler, is it? Güler, who plays for Real Madrid. He's
yeah.
a young player. And every World Cup produces one player who becomes a household name. The first one I think about is James Rodriguez for Colombia, who went on to play for Real Madrid and Everton as well. I think he has the talent to become one of those players of the tournament that we probably will never see again. But I think he'll be surprised because he's playing for one of the biggest teams, and maybe not a starter, but he's got that potential around him, and he's going to want people to. He's going to want to put his country on the map. Not that it's already on the map, obviously, Turkey, but yeah. Oh God, you could. That's why this podcast is free, because we haven't got the content to charge for it. So, my surprise team of the tournament is a team that I think will be disciplined, will be tactically excellent, and I always think when I see that, well, they beat England not long ago as well, and I'm going to go with Japan.
Oh, yeah.
They always seem to pull something out the bag. I think they beat Brazil not long ago as well. They beat England. They aren't one of those teams that, are easy to run over anymore. They are, like you say, they're disciplined. They have respect for one another. And tactically against England, they were immense. Like, they outplayed us. I know it was a friendly, but yeah, Japan's going to be mine. An honourable mention for Morocco as well. They did well in the trophy that they just won after it was handed from Senegal. African Cup of Nations.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be needed edited out, isn't it? It's going to look like that little trophy over there. I don't mean that, by the way. Yeah, so honourable mention for them.
Yeah.
They're a bit of a dark horse, I suppose. So, the main question we want to hear
is who's going to win?
Who's going to win? Go for it. Who's going to win and why?
Well, so again, I've got written down here on my bit of paper.
Okay.
So is England or France?
England or France?
I'll put it
wow,
down. I've got a funny feeling. I mean, like, it's only if it actually can happen in the order of like how they play, obviously.
Gods, the footballing gods.
Because I haven't actually looked at that yet to see if they can actually sort of meet each other before that final. And if they can, then like that obviously is straight out the window. But I've just got a feeling like I think England are going to do really well because they've gotten better over the past few sort of World Cups and the Euros. And with Tuchel at the helm, who, as you say, has sort of changed a bit of the way that England are playing, that is trying to make them more sort of exciting to watch, and just his calmness and the way that he's chosen chemistry over individual quality. I think that's going to be a very key thing that he's done. And just the way that he talks, like the press were asking about individual performances for last night's game and the one in New Zealand, and Tuchel shot them down away and said, "I am not going to talk about individuals because it's about the team." And like, I think that is an excellent way about of handling like those questions. So I think that's really good. So it's England or France. So that was a bit of a tangent. I think France just their forwards have just got such quality. I mean,
yeah,
amazing quality that even if they let in goals, then they'll score more than what they let in, because that forward 3 or 4 is just unbelievable. So they've definitely got to be a contender, and it's very difficult for me to pick one. So hats off to you if you have chosen one.
I mean, it's an inside joke, but I was going to say something else why you thought England or France were going to win, but anyway, that needs to stay inside. So I'm going to sound like a right contradicting. I was going to say something then, but I'm going to sound really contradicting now by saying, even though I thought Mbappe was going to be the either the Golden Boot winner or the player of the tournament. No, it's Golden Boot winner. I think, again, my heart wants to say England. Every year I think it'll be England. I think it'll be England right now. But let's think logically here. I think France 40%, and I think Spain 60%. I think Spain. The reason I think this is because obviously Yamal. If I'm going to say player of the tournament for Yamal, there's going to be a reason he's player of the tournament, isn't it? So Yamal being my player of the tournament is one of them. I think he could be that kind of Messi inspiration. You know, that Messi was for Barcelona. I think they've got the most balanced squad in the competition as well. You know, they haven't picked any Real Madrid players because they don't need to, because they've got a team that is balanced with each other. They've got a fantastic midfield in Gavi, Pedro, Rodri. I mean, that is just, can you imagine trying to play around those three players? It's going to be like Iniesta, Messi, and Iniesta, Xavi, and Busquets.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of young players coming up. And a lot, you know,
true.
And recent history, they are a winning team. You know, they won a European Championship, a World Cup, and then a European Championship again, with all in 10 years. So they've got a lot of depth, they've got experience from winning tournaments, and they've got a balanced squad, and that midfield is elite. So France is probably the obvious one people always go for, but I'm going to be a bit out of the box and say Spain. Final prediction. That's not what I asked for, but let's say Spain 2, France 1. With England finishing.
You're going as well.
Yeah, England finishing third.
Got balls.
That's my early prediction. We will obviously bring up more predictions along the way. But it's interesting that we haven't got the same. It's a bit like the Howler and the Player of the Week. We always seem to come up with the same thing, but it's been interesting that our answers haven't actually matched, which is going to be tasty come the end of the tournament. So that's it. I mean, that is it for this episode. You know, England haven't played yet. We've talked about two England openers, about what two could bring to the squad, and very early predictions of some things we'd like to see. Tom, is there anything you want to finish on? Is there anything you want to bring up for, before the tournament started today?
Well, I think probably the main thing to say is that the England game is against Croatia next Wednesday at 9:00, and that'll be when everyone's party really gets started, and when we can really see how they play, because that's when the heat's going to be turned up, and we're going to have like 2 weeks of like about 4 or 5 games every day to sort of watch. Yeah. Although they're all going to be at very odd times, like it's 2 in the morning and 5 in the morning and like stuff like that. So it's going to be odd to like try and watch them all this year. But yeah,
I will make every effort to watch as many games as I can. I'll probably, my wife will probably want to divorce me at the end of it. But I'm not sure if I saw this right, or again with AI going around, you're not sure what you see is right anymore. But I'm sure I've read or seen if England finish runners up in the group, they have a 3 a.m. game in the next round. So if anything, please finish top of the group, England, so I don't have to call and sick the next day, because that would really help. I mean, we're acting as if they're going to win the group or we finish runners up. Knowing our luck, it'll be a It'll be absolute disaster again. Me with that positivity again.
I'm confident that we'll definitely go through to the last 16 quarterfinal, semi-final. Yeah, well, I'm confident of that. I mean, I just don't see. I mean, if they do, then that'll be an absolute shocker, and they should be disgraced.
Exactly. So again, one final thing I want to say is, like you, negative I can be. I every year will be singing the same Three Lions song, wearing the £13 dodgy shirt that I haven't bought. That's a bit itchy, but again, I haven't bought it. And drinking that many pints before a work day that I regret it. So I cannot absolutely wait to get England's game starting next Wednesday, as you said, against Croatia. It's going to be a hard game, so I need a game to start with, that's for sure. But they aren't the Croatia we saw, 8-10 years ago. So we have an opportunity to start the tournament well. So everybody, that's the predictions are locked in. We've picked our England team, debated Tuchel's biggest calls, predicted our Golden Boot winner, player of the tournament, Tom, surprise nation, surprise player. A lot we've gone through today. The beauty of the World Cup is that some of these predictions will probably look absolutely ridiculous by next week. So that is the great thing about it. And that's why we love it. Every World Cup creates new heroes, unforgettable moments, and story nobody saw coming. So as we finish, Mexico and South Africa is still going on. We're coming up to the end of the first half. We'll probably talk about that next week. And enjoy the tournament. And any final words from you, Tom?
Yeah, very similar to what you said. I hope everyone enjoys this World Cup. It's going to be exciting, the highs and lows. It's going to be exciting to watch and chat. And me and Craig from the North to South podcast will be here every single week and chatting about it. So last bit is you should see a subscribe button here or here. Please press it, comment, like, and be part of the show.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the tournament. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And this is the North to South podcast. Thank you. From the north